Welcome to InnovativePhysiqueDevelopment.com Outdoor Training, episode number 3. My name is Robert Malik, ISSA Elite Trainer with 18 certifications from Science for Sport. What I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the machines that we use for cardio at the gym, what their benefits and limitations are. So we're going to look at the positives and the negatives and compare this to doing the workouts outdoors. All right. One thing I want to look at here one at a time is the STAIR machine. The STAIR machine, you're going upstairs, but you're not going downstairs. You're getting half of an exercise. What you need to do is always tend to gravitate towards reality, real, rather than a simulation of real. The better exercise is usually to be found with reality. Now, you go upstairs, then you should go downstairs. And I never see anyone do that at any of the gyms that I've ever gone to. However, it is very beneficial, and of course, the full exercise when you go down the stairs as well as you go up the stairs. Personally, I go upstairs, downstairs. Sometimes I'll use a weighted vest. Sometimes I'll carry barbell plates with me of different weights. So I change the resistance. I make it weighted resistance, and change my workout that way. Hit different fibers, different types of training, from endurance training to strength training, etc. But I'm trying to just make it clear that if you're training on the stairs in the gym, you will be at a tremendous disadvantage. If you, let's say you're doing a half hour of stair climbing, if you ever had to go downstairs for a half hour, your legs are going to be killing you, right? You're going to be totally out of shape for that. It's a different workout. It hits the muscles differently. You're focusing on the eccentrics as you're going down the steps, the concentrics as you're going up the steps. You want to get in both. So you're getting half an exercise by using a stair machine rather than real stairs. That's machine number 1. I do want to say though that because you're stepping upwards with actual steps and also doing that one step at a time that way, you're getting somewhat of a hypertrophy workout upon your endurance fiber, which is highly beneficial. Of course, with the actual steps, when you start to get into weighted, now you could hit into other fibers as well. But all this said, out of all the cardio machines that I see in the gyms, the best one is the STAIR machine. Okay, that's one. Now, from here, I'll go on to the rowing machine. The rowing machine is something that can be pulled so easily. I can pull it with one finger. Very few people use that rowing machine. It's like a toy, and as far as how close you have to have your feet on these rowing machines, it's very uncomfortable I know for me, and of course, from what I understand, other people as well, because it's not adjustable to have your legs further out. Women tend to have wider hips, who might have some more width. Men, of course, also, you have your testicles, right? You want to have a little more space. It's very, very close. And even on the bar itself, it's a very short bar. You can't have your hands out here or here. for different muscle stimulation in your back. Everything is very tight. You go back and forth. And on top of that, there's very, very little resistance. You compare this to my plate pull that I do outdoors, there's no comparison. You can adjust the resistance with the plate pulls that I do outdoors from 1 pound to hundreds of pounds, with all different hand positions and all different foot positions. And you're going to the side and you're pulling to the side, and also side lat pull. Then you're doing the low lat pull with your hands in this position. Your hands in this position, you're getting the teres major, teres minor, the infraspinatus. Your hands come close and you're pulling back this way. You're getting some more of the traps and the rhomboids. All right, you're pulling this way. You're getting your biceps this way, the brachialis. You're pulling up this way over here, your rear delts, and with your rhomboids, the trap. All different ways to handle this, all different ways to do it to hit your back, which you don't get on a rowing machine in the gym. Not to mention its other shortcomings. It's just not adjustable like it should be and can be to your own body, that you can do naturally out there at the beach with my pulling exercises that I have invented. In addition, you're just sitting there. Yes, you're pressing back and forth, but when you're doing the pulls, you're also getting that, because you got to resist against it. You're also getting in your lower body as well, and you plant yourself. You're going to the sides. You're getting your gluteus medius and your back, your maximus. You're going backwards. You're going sideways. Much, much better exercise than the rowing machine. Okay. Also like to discuss regarding the rowing machine, and as a problem with the other exercises, is that if you don't have enough resistance, yes, you're hitting the endurance fiber type 1, you're getting in cardio, you're benefiting mitochondrial proliferation and sensitivity, you're benefiting angiogenesis and capillary perfusion, to have blood vessels expand and increase, like expanded. Actually, how do I break this down easily? Have the blood vessels increase and branch out to flow blood into your muscles. Okay, beneficial. But if you don't have resistance, then you don't have the hypertrophy and the strength that you could have even on the endurance fiber. Not to mention type 2B, 2A, 2A1. All you have is a hypertrophy on the 1, and you're not even getting that if there is not enough resistance. So it's very important to have resistance. And this brings me to the cross-country ski machine. Now, cross-country ski machine is, that to me is a toy. Look, this is doing like nothing for your arms, all right? And this is whole, you know. What I offer is walking, or you're hiking with weighted staffs, with pipes of different diameters depending upon your strength. And then you could fill them with sand. All right? Now, if we had snow here, we would be doing actual cross-country skiing with weighted poles. Since we don't, we're going to be walking in the soft sand at the beach, or hiking on a trail with weighted staffs up to 25 pounds a piece, which is what I use. Okay? Now, this has given my front delts and my traps tremendous strength, where I can do 60-pound dumbbell raises from this in this way and this way, all right? Where you get endurance as well as strength, and can begin to hit all fibers, not just the type 1. So the problem with the step machine, it's really doing nothing for the arms and for the lower body as well. It's just, I'm doing my cardio. The cardio, yes, but you're losing all of the strength benefit though. And this is important. It's important to have, I would think, to have curves. Curves look good, muscle looks good. You're not going to get that. All right, you got to have hypertrophy, hyperplasia. You got to have some resistance going on. If you don't have this resistance, you don't have that. Okay? So this is especially very important as you get older. And that's something too that when you're young, you don't even think about when you're 50. But if you ask yourself, if someone asks you, hey, you want to live to be 100 or do you want to die at 50? I don't want to die at 50. So if you want to die at 50, then do things to make sure that at 50, you're still healthy. They can still walk and perform like I can. Right? When you're 50 years old, every year from 50 years old on, you lose 3% of muscle mass, unless you do a lot of things, as well, and not only exercise, to prevent that from happening. And there are a lot of things you can do to prevent it from happening, and it's not just exercise alone. But the point is that eventually, unfortunately, you will lose the battle. Everyone eventually dies. No one survives. Aging is a vicious disease. So you want to have as much muscle essentially in your muscle bank, just like you have in the bank itself for money, for reserve, for retirement. You want to have as much muscle in your muscle bank as possible, so that as you get older, you can pull on this reserve. So you're not confined to a wheelchair, or to a walker, or to a bed. It's like dying before you die. You cannot move anymore. You're confined. This is terrible, all right? So you want to make sure that you have muscle. Let's take me, for instance, right? I'm dragging 70 pounds behind me when I walk. As I get older, it'll be 60 and 50 and 40 and 30 and 20 and 10 and 0. And now I'm just walking, not pulling anything. That's a lot of money in the bank. That's a lot of muscle reserve in the bank, right? I got to go down all these levels. If all you do is walk, you know what level you go from? This level to confinement. You have nothing in the bank. And one thing I've always said when I was a marathon runner, when I get tired, I walk. When you get tired as a walker, you have to sit. You're right at the edge. You're at the edge of the cliff. You fall off. You can't walk, you're done. If I can't run, I walk. If I can't pull, I pull less, or I just walk. Where's your reserve? You have none. That's a problem. That's the problem with these machines. They don't give you resistance. You may think, all right, I'll walk on the treadmill, uphill, on the incline. First of all, half the people that do it lean back. And if you lean back as the treadmill leans back, you can basically keep going in a 360. In a 360, it doesn't change. You lean back, the treadmill leans back, but the treadmill keep going like this, you go in a circle. So that doesn't work. Zero at all. That's half the people. The other half that do it right still aren't getting anywhere. Why? I'll tell you why. You're supporting what you're doing is. All you're doing is you're supporting your weight. And you're moving your legs and you're supporting your weight. You aren't, let me explain this. When you go for an incline, You're changing the resistance curve. You aren't actually stepping up anywhere. That conveyor belt moves even if you get off. You're not moving that belt. You're simply supporting your own weight. That's all you're doing. And when you go on an incline, you change your resistance curve, but you're still supporting your own weight. You're not going anywhere. You're not going up anywhere. Essentially, let's put it like this. It's a fraud. It's bullshit. You think I'm going on an incline. You ain't going on anything. You're simply taking your weight and putting your weight into a different position to support yourself in. And your legs are going back and forth. Now, this is one thing I say, and I hope you remember this. This is very important. Don't do things that 3-year-olds do. If a 3-year-old can walk, then you shouldn't. All right? If an 80-year-old can walk, then you shouldn't. Leave that to them. All right? That's a little too easy for you. If a 3-year-old can do it, you shouldn't be. If an 80-year-old can do it, you shouldn't be. How old are you? All right? Don't shortchange yourself. Exercise and treat your body with the respect and the capacity and the ability that it has to improve. Don't put yourself down here. You know, one thing I say is that if a 20-year-old thinks like an 80-year-old, you watch what happens to that 20-year-old and that level of and that person's level of conditioning. If a 20-year-old thinks I'm too old, you watch what happens to that 20-year-old. Okay. I'm 54 years old. Everyone in the gym can see what I do and how much I lift. And you go into the big lift series and see what I do. Do I think like I'm 54, going on 55? Or do I think like, no, fuck that? All right? Age does not define who I am. I define who I am. And aging is a very serious disease that you need to address and counter. And the last thing you ever do is say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm 55, I guess I need to retire and just basically just walk like this. You know, I just basically give up and say, yeah, I'm too old. Okay, that's the worst thing you do, because then you have not just a physical problem, but you have a psychological problem. Now, one thing I want to bring up, all right, is two things. One is, I have a bit of a stomach. I don't know if you actually noticed that, but you may. You're like, okay, you're a trainer, but you have a bit of a stomach. I have a stomach for two reasons. One, I eat a lot. I eat to put on muscle. And I eat to put on endurance capacity. I load my carbs. I'm constantly eating my protein. Just before this video, 4 eggs, quinoa, spinach and kale, can of organic sweet potato, and some water. All right. I always got food going in me. I'm always fueling. During the rare times in between where I don't have a lot of food in my stomach looks quite different. That's point one. Point two, you know what the other reason is? I'm 54 years old, going on 55, and I have not been using growth hormone. I need to. As soon as I am financially able to, I will, and that will make another difference. Okay? You cannot, listen to me, you cannot deny the aging process. That will move against you like a solid, this is like a mountain, but you can put up mountains in the way of this. the aging process moves, and you can counter that. For example, epithalon peptide, okay, preserves the stem cells in your body so that you're able to regenerate your cells properly. Critical. It's been found that it can extend your life 30%. 30%. And I have those in my family that lived into their 90s. I need to get an epithalon so I can live to be 125. Right? Critical. You have to, I am supplementing by way of anabolic hormones to counter that part. That is helpful. You have to also think of that too as a woman, such as ester tests, and I go into this on estrogen and testosterone on my website. You must counter aging through exercise, through anabolic hormones, through peptide hormones, such as epithalon, GHKCU, take a look at growth hormone. Critical. So that you can stop, you can even, as been found, reverse aging through such as GHKCU. Okay, and I've taken some of that. It's important that if you don't take that, at least to have your collagen. However, what I want to make the point on here is that you need to take aging seriously and understand. Anyone who stands up and says, "Oh, look at me, I don't age," this is ridiculous. Just like when you're in the womb and you grow, there's a process that happens. You cannot deny that process happens to everybody. No one survives to be 500 years old. Everyone dies of old age. Everybody, including me, including you. So what you need to do is address that, admit it, hit it head on. One thing you don't, now, when you're 20 years old, you don't have to worry about, all right, I gotta take my peptides. I gotta take anabolic hormone. I have to take growth hormone. I have to take things to stop this, to stay healthy and keep training. You don't have to worry about the other stuff. You just have to train, you have to exercise. But you have to exercise right. The last thing you want to do is exercise as if you're 80, 90 years old when you're 25 years old. And put no reserve in the bank of muscle. And just get in your cardio and don't think about hypertrophy on your endurance fiber or any other fibers. That is a real mistake. So, if you're older, you need to do certain things. More things than when you're younger. But when you're younger, the last thing you want to do is think that you, forget about it, I'm not old yet, so I don't have to worry about it. And treat your body as if it's old before it's even old. And even more than hypertrophy, you have the mind-muscle connection. You have nerve connections that you develop upon your muscle fibers. Okay? You want to train not just the type 1 fiber. You want to train the type 2A1, the 2A, the 2B, and have a healthy number of fibers of enhanced, improved improved nerve activity upon your fibers and develop that. That's also very important. You want to be doing that as well in your training, even when you're young, to have those nerves set up on your muscle fibers from a young age. So essentially what you want to do is when you're young, be in the best shape that you can be in, so that when you get to be my age, you can pull 800,000 pounds in a 5-day period. you can do what I do. And you take a look at the progression of things that I've done in my life that has enabled me to be an athlete at my age today and still be strong and healthy. All right? So don't take your youth for granted. Don't sell yourself short with these gym machines. These gym machines are better than nothing, granted, but they're not better than actually being outdoors and doing the real thing. Now, this said, okay, I do as best I can out there as far as giving you the best workout possible outdoors for yourself and for myself. But I've also lived more than a decade in California. I'm sorry to say, it just kicks ass when you do mountain hiking. It really does. And I've hiked in all over California. I've lived there for more than 10 years. I've hiked in Nevada. All right? We do what we can out here. But if you think that, that we can do out here what we could have done, what we could do if we lived in California or somewhere out west where we can go hiking up mountains, no. I mean, that's obvious. So, anyway, I just want to break that all down. I hope that this was very informative and very helpful and enlightening. I speak the truth, and I tell it the way it is, always, always. All right, let's get after it.